Hi, I'm Time Travel Beard, and I wanted to show you some of the new features in the shader update that has more stuff added to the bounce lighting. It essentially does a full light physics simulation in the screen space, which lets you get stuff like that soft shadow you see on that clover in front of the glow stone. And it lets you get really, really nice lighting, like you're starting to see from the skylight being reflected off of the wet grass. I'll reset the settings first, and I'll kind of show you what a few of the different settings look like. If you reset it, it's not quite in any of the presets. I recommend using a preset. Low should be very easy to run and is very much a vanilla-ish experience. Low with some skylight adds in just some of the skylight, but it does so not in a great way. Medium, I hope your computer can run at least medium, because it does a ray tracing of the skylight to give you that nice, gentle, subtle lighting you see everywhere. And then on high is where we start to get bounce lighting and reflections, but it's not necessarily at the best accuracy. It's just trying to get something in there that still runs very well. And then Ultra does 3 light bounces, which can give a very, very nice look, especially in certain situations where there's limited light. And Copenhagen and Ascended just kind of pump up the accuracy of all of the light bounces and just make it really nice. But they're not really going to be playable right now. I'll show you some of the texture overrides you can do for style related stuff. You see here we've got this glowstone, but things aren't very reflective usually. When it rains, things get a bit more reflective, but in general they aren't smooth and reflective. Part of the PBR lighting system, which is the whole new lighting engine, is in here. I try to make some of it easy to get around. A lot of the performance things are in here, inside of this. If you touch any of this, you should keep this kill switch on. What it does is it turns effects off if your FPS gets below this amount, so that you can still get in the menu without the lag being so bad you can't do anything. And it will show that red square in the top left and turn off effects, but it will toggle per frame because I didn't integrate it really heavily. But it's so that you can at least hit escape, go to options, do this, go to shaders, go to shader options, and reset. That's hard to do if you're getting like 1 frame a second, which you can make your computer do, because there's some options in there that are just out of this world. But if we go to video settings, shader options, PBR lighting, and we go to texture overrides, you can overdrive the specular, which increases reflectivity of everything, and you can boost the smoothness of everything. And that pretty much makes everything like a mirror, except for the normal map. So here you see we've got 1 reflection on high. If we go to ultra, you get 3 bounce lights, so you will actually get a reflection of the reflection up in the ceiling. And this creates really nice lighting in caves and overhangs and stuff like that, while still being mostly playable. But you can see overdriving that stuff makes things look bad. So in most cases, I would not want to use texture overrides like that, but you can do something like boost just the smoothness on metal, so that metal has crisper reflections, if that's something you'd like. So let me check which setting we're on here. Okay, ultra. We'll start, I guess, with medium, and I'm going to clear the weather and just kind of walk around a little bit. Oh, looks like the weather is clearing itself. So on medium, you get the ray trace skylighting, which you see adds some really subtle little blue hints on things, especially in the shadows. And it just gives you a really nice look, I think. Like it's what defined the last version of the shader. When we go to high is when it adds a light bounce, which means that in cases where something other than sky would be reflected, it's actually going to reflect that color. So you see here in the shadows, you got a little bit of whatever's over there. If I put, I don't know, you get, it's pretty much, it's reflections. But it's not just doing hard, crisp reflections. It's reflecting absolutely everything. I really should have set myself up at a better spot to showcase it. Get down in here. A cave would be nice to show, but this might work. And again, it's most obvious in shadows. Like you see here, you get reflections not just of the sky, but of other trees and stuff. It just scatters the light around. And it does have some artifacting. Like you see there, you get a green light from the trees where it bounces down. If we go to Ultra, what it does is it does 3 bounces of light instead of 1, and it slightly improves the accuracy. So you can see that there's a lot of light bounced around. And there are situations in which this just looks absolutely beautiful. Like, see here on these shadows, just a really nice, gentle bounce lighting. And if we go to Cook and Egg or Ascended, they both just increase the amount of steps and the amount of rays so that it does a more accurate light simulation. But in most cases, oh God, that's beautiful, isn't it? They're not going to be very gameplay friendly because it just uses a lot of resources. One way to kind of get around that is to use TAA, but I really think that that kind of ruins the experience as well. And Ascended does a stylistic choice of also lowering the ambient light level to kind of make the lighting much more dramatic and easier to see the bounce lighting and what's going on with it. As you can see, it really adds a lot of nice, beautiful, subtle lighting. But one of the goals with this release was to make High look as close to that as possible while giving you much better performance. So High still captures a lot of that bouncing just from that first light bounce and still maintains really good performance. With a few drawbacks, like you can see there's a little bit of kind of shifting of the color where it's just trying its best to give you good performance. Now, if you're still interested in some of the details of how to kind of tweak this further, let me know in the comments and I will try to make a clean version of what the rest of the video is going to be, which is doing a deep dive into the settings and what all the different things do. I hope you enjoy the shader and have a good day.